Well, hi, everybody. Lee Bodette, your host of Sport Car USA, and we have podcast number 27, right, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Scott Nickerson is with me, and Scott, we are in Lake George, New York. We're looking very casual. We don't have our Sport Car USA hats and shirts on, but we are relaxed and having a great time in Lake George, getting ready for the Adirondack National Car Show this weekend.
Yeah, so obviously the surroundings are a little bit different.
Yeah.
We're in our Airbnb, which
We are.
Is beautiful. This is probably one of the nicest places.
It's
I've
amazing.
stayed. Yeah. Every room has a bathroom. The bathrooms are beautiful.
We're being spoiled.
Yeah, everything's really nice.
Yeah, it's the Millbrook Manor right here at Lake George. We're right on the lake, and I want to thank Holly very much. I'm wearing a hat that Holly gave us.
Yep, she dropped off a shirt.
There,
well,
he's wearing a shirt.
Moments before we started recording, actually.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
Throw them on.
We are so excited to be here. It's our second year here at Sport Car USA being here, right on the lake, as I mentioned. And tomorrow is really the big day. Today was kind of the setup day. We left the dealership, Sport Car USA dealership, around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Not bad. It's like a 2.5, 3 hour drive.
Yeah.
We took Route 9N.
Beautiful.
And remember that. If you ever come to Lake George, Route 9N was outstanding. It was beautiful. A lot of curves in the road. I was driving a Dodge Charger 2022. Hellcat. Yeah, baby. Had the red key and the black key. We know all about that. And Dave Burns, who's with Sport Car USA, was driving the 2014 Mustang with 662 horsepower and going through those curves. Oh, baby, was that fun.
Yeah, and that Shelby, it's a GT500.
Yeah, it is.
It's got a aftermarket Corsa exhaust. And if you're able to hear this when it comes out Friday and, you're in the area, come check them out. But that exhaust sounds real nice.
Oh, my goodness. It's like Dave was like really getting on it at times. And, of course, it's
him, like echoing in the road up ahead.
And I've said this in the past that I just miss the manual transmission. I've got a 2020 Corvette, as most of you know who have been watching this podcast, and it's automatic. And most of the cars now are automatic. I get it. You get there much quicker. Has a nice sound, but there's just something about a manual transmission with these hot sport cars.
Yeah. Well, it's fun because in those scenarios where you can't go flat out really fast, you can just downshift.
Yeah.
And get into it a little bit.
Yeah. And at one time on our way here to Lake George from St. Albans, Vermont, which is where Sport Car USA is based, I lost Dave, who had the Shelby GT500. I'm here like, where the heck is he? And then I just heard it. I heard the exhaust. It's like, okay, and I looked up, and there he was taking a hard right.
Yep. Yeah, it was a fun drive though through that area.
It was.
Ticonderoga. A lot of, like you said, curvy little mountain roads, and it's a good time.
Yeah. So I mentioned today is the setup day here at the Adirondack National Car Show, and we did find the donut guy already.
Oh my God, those cider donuts.
Oh my God.
Definitely get the cider donuts.
So good. A lot of the vendors were arriving. Not all of them set up right away, of course. We set up our booth at Sport Car USA, but the donut guy we found immediately. We remembered him from last year. Also found the lemonade guy.
They were ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got there early, and a lot of vendors weren't even set up yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially food vendors.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're calling for some pretty severe weather tonight in the early evening. We're hoping that things are going to be okay for the weekend, but we just don't know. I had a chance to talk to a new vendor here at Sport Car USA. He's from West Virginia. Again, we're in Lake George, New York, West Virginia. That's a pretty good haul. People come from all over the country to check out this Adirondack Car Show, and he had some really unique signs. Did you get a chance to go over there?
I didn't explore too much today. I know tomorrow is going to be our big day of actually getting out and interviewing some folks.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. I'll have to check that out.
He had like the old ESSO signs, ESSO, and the mobile signs.
Some golf signs.
And exactly. And he also had some Peanuts characters with signs that said, "This is my garden." That was the writing on it. This is my garden. You'd see Lucy and Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and I thought those were really cool.
He'll probably sell a lot of those.
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Oh, he's going to sell a ton of them. And I asked him. I said, "Did you create these? Did you do these?" And he said, "No. There's a company that I'm involved with in West Virginia."
Yep.
And just one of the many vendors here. We are expecting to have so much fun here this weekend, and so many vendors are rolling in as we speak. Again, we're at the beach house, so we're kind of like relaxing right now.
Yep.
But it is just an amazing show. I had a chance, Scott, to walk down, I don't even know if it's called Main Street, but it's Main Street.
The main drag.
The main drag, that's right.
Yep.
The main drag. And I took a video of the cars and the trucks that are just rolling in. Now, I've told you many times on this podcast, I'm not a huge fan of modifications.
Yep.
I like originality. I've got my 66 Mustang at home. It's original. I tried to make it as original as possible, doing the history. But I got to tell you, being here, there's so many modified cars, and I think it's so cool.
It's hard to not
Exactly. Exactly. And they're doing the burnouts, which, of course, the Lake George police are not real happy, the sheriffs. But they get away with it most of the time.
I think they're probably a little more lenient this time of year, this weekend, than they would normally be.
And again, today is just day one. It's not even officially open, if you will.
Yeah, it's kind of a soft opening.
Yeah, it's a very soft opening. A lot of people have to work on Friday. They're going to be arriving Friday afternoon. But the line of cars coming into this place was just incredible. Tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be incredible as well. But the vehicles, I saw a Ford Maverick with an engine coming out of the hood.
Yeah, you see stuff that you wouldn't have even thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like weird pipe dreams that someone made up, and then they actually made it into a vehicle. I
got to tell you, one of my favorite cars that I saw already today was, remember Vacation, right? The movie Vacation.
Right. Yep.
Chevy Chase, right? There was a station wagon which looked like the Chevy Chase station wagon in Vacation, and it had Aunt Edna on top of the roof.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, so that's what they were trying to do.
That's what they were trying to do. It was like a mummy. It was, but you knew it was Aunt Edna on top of the roof. Right. For those of you that have enjoyed that Vacation movie, and if you haven't, you got to watch. You got to watch that. Yep. You just have to watch that. That's just iconic. So that was one of my fun sights to see. And I mentioned the burnouts. It's early, but there were a couple that lit them up a little bit.
I know usually it's Friday night. I remember we went to dinner.
And Saturday night. Yeah.
And we were at a place that was kind of on that main drag.
Yeah.
And we had like a front row seat
to
see all the people doing burnouts. And they did them for a while, and then eventually the police department stepped in and everyone booed them.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it's for safety.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, to be a police officer in Lake George this weekend,
no thanks.
No thanks.
Because you have to do your job to some degree, but then you're ruining the fun. So
And I think they look the other way. They look the other way in a lot of cases.
Oh yeah,
they know there are going to be burnouts.
Yeah.
They aren't really jerks about it, but they do have a job to do, and I get it. There's a safety concern. Burnouts are really cool, but when you're really close to the sidewalk with people walking, you could lose control out of one of these cars.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? And that's we kind of tried to do that with our last showcase. We had some people do burnouts, and it wasn't always the safest of conditions, so we kind of had to make.
And I guess I've never been a fan of burnouts. I've never really thought much about it. But I must tell you, when I was watching today, I enjoyed it. All the smoke, and I wish I had the video camera. I wish I had the video of it because with all that smoke, the cars coming in back of the burnout.
Can't see.
No, you can't see, but it is a really cool image.
Oh, of them driving.
Yeah, exactly. Driving through the smoke.
Yeah, I've seen videos too where people are doing burnouts for so long their tires get so hot that they pop.
Oh my goodness!
So hopefully we don't see any of that this weekend.
Yeah.
I was telling you when we were walking back I keep hearing people do burnouts and ripping down the street, and I'm just so scared that I'm going to hear a crash.
Yeah.
But so far.
And the other thing is, I've got a 2020 Corvette, as most of you know, and a lot of people say, "Come on, Lee, light them up." Yep. And I'm thinking, I don't want to pay.
Yeah, do you know how expensive these tires are?
$1,500 for new tires because I wanted to, show off a little bit, right?
Yeah, I know someone who had a Camaro for a very short amount of time, and I think they still have it, but they had it for a short amount of time, and they ripped through a set of rear tires to the point where it was on wires. They were shredded. and that was not cheap.
But I think that's what this show is known for in one aspect, the burnouts. It's not acceptable, according to the sheriffs and the police department.
Right. But
it happens, and it's just, to me, it's a riot.
Yep.
An absolute riot. But some of the cars I saw today, and it's early, it's only the first day, people arriving. Again, the modifications. I mentioned the Ford Maverick. I've seen Ford Torinos.
The amount of things you see sticking out of hoods.
Exactly. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. And I think I saw like an AMC. Oh, my goodness. A Valiant. I saw a Valiant, which is from, where is that? A Valiant. Is it a Chrysler? Valiant? I can't even remember. You probably don't know because you're too young.
No, I haven't experienced
But
those.
I saw a Valiant today. We'll have to look that up because I can't tell you what the car manufacturer is. But that was something to be seen. I've said this many times. And Valiant is one of them right there, like a Pinto. There are vehicles that were manufactured a Pacer. They were manufactured, and you, at the time, said, what an ugly vehicle. Who would buy one of those?
Yep.
What a piece of crap.
Or like the Prowler, too.
Yeah, well, Prowler, that was pretty cool, though, actually, I thought. Yeah.
I see. I think it's kind of the other way.
Yeah.
I think I'm in that part where it's kind of still in the weird, ugly phase for me.
I mean, Chevrolet Vega.
Yeah.
That was one of the Chevrolet's top-selling vehicles. You look at them at the time, growing up, I'm a lot older than Scott.
Yes.
And it's like, I would never think about preserving one of them. I would never think about, I'm going to, hang on to this,
Right, this will be
keep
worth
the
so much
miles
money
low.
someday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What happens is they find them in the junkyard and they refurbish them. And then today, being in 2023, you look at them at a car show like today,
Yep.
the Adirondack Nationals, and look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something you don't see every day, too, because everyone, like you were saying, was like, oh, this is just a car.
It's a
Like,
riot.
Nothing special.
Yeah, it is a riot. So at Sport Car USA, we have our booth there. We hope that some of you watching can stop in and see us. We have
Batten down the hatches before we left.
we did. There is
lowered
some supposed to be some severe weather coming in.
Apparently.
Yeah. And we had a vendor right next to us, and they've been to this show for 10 years. They do T-shirts, right?
Yeah.
And
I think
sweatshirts,
they're
things
the
like that.
official merchandise.
Yeah, okay. And they battened down their hatches before they left today. But we are in the lower area of the, I don't know, is this called a fairgrounds?
I'm not 100% sure. So the upper part is at Fort William Henry.
That's the main.
Yep. And there's just kind of like a lower area. It's right next to a mini golf course, actually.
Right.
We were talking about we should play in some mini golf.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
But
Maybe not
it's just
today.
a lower area, and it's actually the cover photo of our Sport Car USA calendar.
Yeah.
Which I think we're going to get rid of a lot of those this
Yeah,
weekend. Just
absolutely.
'cause the cover photo is like George.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So we are down below, and by tomorrow, this whole field will be loaded with vehicles.
Yeah, I think around 7 a.m. cars start rolling in.
They
I
really
think
roll in.
We get there around 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Give those people a chance to start getting in there,
Yeah.
and we're going to interview a lot of those people, I think.
Yeah.
So next week's podcast, be on the lookout for that. Should be a lot of interviews with some really cool people. It's probably going to be a longer one, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so many. I couldn't even see everything last year.
Right.
I had the drone up in the air, and that was the only way I could see everything.
Yeah. We have lots of people to talk to. We're going to be here, like I said, through Sunday. Sunday's kind of a soft close, if you will.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they want to go home. Like most car shows, the last day of the car show, they want to go home. And I get it. I've been there. I've been there with my 66 Mustang, and it's time to go.
I mean, that guy from West Virginia, he's probably going to want to
Yeah, exactly.
start driving as soon as he can.
Exactly.
That's a long drive. So.
And this is his first year being here, and he was excited about it. Of course, we all talked about the weather. It's been just a crazy weather season in Vermont and New York and all over the place, pretty much all the country, right?
Yeah, thankfully, again, to talk about the place we're staying, once we got in here, it was beautiful and
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Because it was really hot,
Really hot.
this whole week.
Yes, it
So
was,
we
yeah.
were out there, 5 minutes in the sun, and you're drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
And, that's part of the reason why we're in our casual clothes.
Yeah.
We came home, and we all showered and tried to get clean. And it was brutal out there. And then tomorrow it's going to be thunderstorms and rain. So
Yeah, but you never know. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
I mentioned our booth down on the lower level. We have the booth set up we've got the free T-shirts and
This is probably the most giveaways we've had.
Yeah, we've got a lot. We got the calendars, we have the koozies, we have the free water.
We got 3 different kinds of stickers.
Exactly. And I mentioned we have the 2 cars, the 2014 Shelby GT500, and then the 2022 Dodge Charger with the Hemi, right? Hellcat.
Wide body.
Exactly. It's a wide body. I had the pleasure of driving that. And
it's only got 500 miles.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this on the way down. So we had this car last summer, and we did a test drive episode. It's one of our most viewed videos.
Yeah.
We did a video where we took the Charger out and drove it around, and now you've driven it down to Lake George, and potentially, unless you switch cars, you'll drive it back.
Yeah.
So now you might put the most miles on that car.
I would say so. And it's really, it was at 7 o'clock this morning, bright and early.
Yeah.
Had to take care of my new puppy. But
you got a new puppy.
A new puppy, black lab. Well, she's really not a black lab. Her father's a black lab. No, she's not a mutt. No, $900. She's not a mutt, Scott.
No.
Her father is a black lab, and her mother is a golden retriever.
Oh, that's a good mix.
So they call her a Goldabor, something like that. I don't know, something like that. That's where I'm at. And supposedly she's going to be very smart because the golden retriever and the black labs are pretty smart.
Yep.
But she's been really, really good. But I had to get up extra early. Normally she gets up at 7 a.m. She's been really good about sleeping all night. She's about 12 weeks old.
Well, you had to wake her up this
time. I did. But I'm moving all around. I'm thinking, okay, she's going to get up. She's been, like I said, great. Doesn't whine at all at night. Likes to chew.
Man.
So got her up around 6 a.m. this morning with me. Had to feed her early. And that went pretty well. Got her in the kennel before I left. But it was like 7 a.m. We were going to head towards Lake George from St. Albans, Vermont. And our general manager, who's great, he's always there. Adam, he doesn't matter what we do. He'll be here tomorrow night. Great person. And a great supporter of Sport Car USA, the creator of Sport Car USA, by the way, Adam. And he said to me, Lee, he said, we probably should trailer this Charger.
Basically brand new.
Brand new, 400 miles, very unique vehicle, hard to find. And I said, Adam, you know what? This vehicle needs to be driven a little bit. Yeah, it really does.
We've had a lot of these in storage, too, so they haven't had a lot of time to get out and do, like, some big drives.
Yeah.
And it's good for them, to get into them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you don't want to hammer them, especially, because they're not ours.
I was told by our parts department manager, Scott.
Car guy.
He's a big car guy and a Dodge Chrysler guy. And he said, Lee, you got to have 500 miles on this vehicle before you can get on it.
Yeah, that's the braking period.
And I think it had like 422 before we left.
Yeah, so you're past the break-in now.
Yeah, so when I got to, I guess it was Vergennes, Vermont.
It tells you, right?
I got on it.
Does a thing pop up? That says, like, it's past,
absolutely.
You broke it in.
Yeah. And I got to tell you,
that's good for someone that buys it now. They don't have to.
It's all broken in.
There you go.
All broken in. But we had a hard time. I had a hard time turning the radio on. And as I was driving, it said it needed a major update, some kind of software update.
Like a firmware update or something.
And it said it was going to take like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
That's the whole drive.
So, exactly. I'm not going to have a radio. It ended up taking about, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes or so, and it said it's all set.
Yeah, but you're probably not having the radio on the whole time anyway. You got to be able to hear that.
Exactly.
That supercharger,
yeah,
right?
exactly. It was a great drive, great morning to do that.
Yeah, I was just following in my own personal car, and even then it was still fun to drive through those.
Yeah, so we had an entourage. We had the GT500 with Dave Burns from Sport Car USA driving it, leading the way.
Yep.
And I was second with the 2022 Dodge Hellcat Charger. Scott was in back of me.
Yep, I was for the second end of it. So we had our big Yukon Denali that we had, which is also beautiful.
That was a presidential vehicle. We call it a presidential vehicle.
And that had all of our stuff in it.
Yes, it did.
T-shirts and our waters.
Absolutely.
That's another thing. Yeah, we're giving away waters.
We are.
Which is good on a day like today.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
And I was driving my TRD Camry, and that was fun.
Which is really cool. Yeah,
it was fun to drive through those hills.
Yeah, but Route 9N, windy. So much fun. Yeah. I text my girlfriend and I said, we gotta use this route. We got to go down this route
You should
because
go to
it's like it borders the lake all the way.
And Lake George is huge.
Gorgeous.
I never realized how big it was.
Yeah.
Because we were talking to, I don't know if we ever got her name, but we were talking to someone at the show, and we were saying, like, oh, we were in this area. Is that Lake George? And she was saying, like, yeah, that's Lake George, and you still had a ways to go before you even get close to the end of it.
But there are a lot of cool, like, general stores on the way. I think it's called Boltonville, one of the towns we went through.
There's a ton of little, like, villages along the way.
And a lot of places that you can stay that are really old-fashioned, if you will.
Yeah, a lot of these places, I mean, especially like thinking about Ticonderoga, it was like a military, what was it? I don't know which war it would have been. I'm not a big history buff.
We weren't alive.
I wasn't.
You
might have been. No, I think it was Civil War, right? I think those were like Civil War.
Oh, yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah, you got enlisted.
Yeah, I got a medal, I think.
A lot of those are like old fort buildings.
Yeah, it's so cool.
A lot of brick and brick buildings.
Yeah.
And
the Adirondacks is very rural, and we live in Vermont. Of course, we have the Green Mountains, but you can see across Lake Champlain the Adirondacks.
And they're beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful, and just like you said, driving through.
I can't remember where it was that we were driving through, and it may have been before I like met up with you guys. But I was driving through one area. There's just all these farmlands, and there was just this heavy fog.
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting in all these valleys, and I was like, I wish I could stop and get the drone in the air and get the camera out. But, we got to get down here.
Exactly. So we got down here. We mentioned we got a couple other people coming tomorrow from Sport Car USA. Yep. We're very excited. Hopefully the weather's going to be okay. It's been just one of those years. If you're listening to this podcast, we hope that you can stop by and see us. We're giving away a lot of free swags, swag, I should say.
Yep.
And it's just going to be a fun event. Everybody, there's just something great about these types of shows where everybody's in a good mood. And I mean, there's just something about automobiles that bring joy to so many people.
Well, even just hearing them rip without seeing them, you get a little smile on your face.
Whether it's something that you grew up with, whether it's something that your dad or your grandfather had, they're all here. Yep. I mean, this is a huge show.
Like I said, you can't see everything.
You can't. There's no way.
Not in one day, anyway. You got to come for the whole weekend and really see everything in detail.
Yeah, and Lake George is such a cool town. They've got last year after the show, it was a Sunday morning, and again, things really quiet down. We went to this old diner, and I say old. It must be from 1950. I don't know. But
a little hole in the wall.
Yeah, spot. Exactly. Yeah. The woman who greeted us, I swear she was the owner from day one. I'm not trying to be, mean or anything, but she looked like she was like 90-something years old, and she could have been the original owner. I really think she was.
Yep.
And that's not being mean. It's just saying, she could be the original owner.
That stuff's cool, though.
Lovely lady.
Small town, sort of like.
Yeah. She seated us. And there was the old radios, the old TVs, you name it. It was there from 1950 and on up. And we just had a wonderful breakfast there. Looking forward to doing that again this Sunday, by the way. I can't tell you what the name of the diner is. Maybe the next podcast I'll let you know about that. But
brought back a lot of memories.
Exactly. It's just such a wonderful town.
From your childhood.
No. Boy, you're really getting me today, aren't you, Scott? Scott Nickerson, who used to be a co-host of Sport Car USA podcast.
Former co-host.
Exactly. He's been fired tonight. But no, if Lake George is just a great resort town.
Yeah, it's. I really want to come back here on my own and stay at a place like this and just be able to do nothing.
And they also have the Great Escape, which is just down the road.
Down the road.
It's
15 minutes.
Yeah. Great.
Of course, there's Lake George. There's I think it's a steamboat, but there's boat tours.
Yeah.
You can rent boats. We were thinking about renting a pontoon boat.
Yeah, on our general manager's dime.
Yes, thank you.
So thanks, Adam. Yes. Thank you very much.
But there's lots to do here.
There is.
It's a good weekend to come for the show.
Yeah.
Definitely book in advance. Don't book this place because we're going to be booking it again.
Absolutely.
Already putting our name in
there. Yes. So let's recap a little bit, Scott, here. Today was setup day for most people. We were there from noon to 5, just greeting some people. But again, mostly it was setup day.
Yep.
The vendors, the snack bars, if you will. And it was a fun day today. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day.
Oh, yeah.
Starting at 8 a.m. We'll be out there with the T-shirts and whatnot to give away.
Probably till 5 or 6 or
yeah.
so.
But what I like about Friday is how the cars roll in. Now, they're rolling in tonight, but tomorrow they're going to really roll in.
They'll really fill out the rest of that field and
yeah.
even up above, too.
Yeah, because if you've seen where we are located, there is a big field, as you mentioned, right in front of us. And I remember last year being here, and I was trying to imagine if the field in front of us was going to be filled with cars, because up above, that's where the main attraction is, if you will. Down below, I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a few stragglers here and there, but they filled it up big time.
Good turnout, yeah.
Yeah.
So hoping for the best again this
absolutely,
year. Absolutely,
yep. And I think maybe downtown, or excuse me, not downtown, but down below where we are, they had that wine spritzer. I think that had a lot to do with people wanting to be down there.
Yeah, it was very popular.
It was very delicious.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, again, we're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be here on Saturday. And then Sunday, we shall depart.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add, Scott?
Don't think so. I think just keep an eye out next week for some interviews with some cool cars and people.
Yeah, we're having a good time tonight. And we're going to get a little dinner and then watch a little football, the kickoff of the season between Detroit and Kansas City. And then we'll be rare to go tomorrow morning.
Bright and early.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Scott Nickerson from Sport Car USA. I'm Lee Bodette, your host. We appreciate you watching these podcasts every single week. Podcast number 27. We've got many more to go.
Yep.
Thanks again from Lake George. Lee Bodette from podcast number 27, our test drive series. Thank you so much for listening and viewing. Have a great night.